This is the most dangerous man on the entire earth. This guy right here is Mark Detroit, and what he did will genuinely leave you speechless. There's a lot of crazy crime and really disturbing stuff going on in the world at the moment, and this guy apparently was thought to be part of similar rings as well. So this guy is Mark Detroit and his wife Michelle Martin. In the 80s and 90s, he bought many houses in Belgium and would use each one as a separate dungeon, going out into the streets, getting people, bringing them back and doing things that I cannot speak about here, but full videos on my YouTube, go to the link in my bio. Underneath the home, he built a soundproof chamber so no one would hear a damn word, and went on to take many people, putting them under the ground and undergoing the most horrendous things ever. Eventually he was caught for doing R and other things to over 5 young people, and went to jail and got released within 3 years, and going back to do more, but this time, not leave anyone alive. No mother even called the police and said what he was doing. They didn't really do anything, eventually going round while 2 people were in the basement, and they left. I can't talk about most of it on here, but go to my YouTube link in bio for the full thing.
Facts that will mess with your perception of time. Sharks are older than the rings of Saturn by hundreds of millions of years. If you were given $10,000 every single day since the pyramids were built, you would only have about 6% of Elon Musk's entire wealth. To give a clear picture of the difference between a million and a million seconds ago was a little over a week ago. A billion seconds ago was the year 1990. Jimmy Carter was the first president to be born in a hospital. Obama was the first president born under the same American flag he served as president under. Harriet Tubman was born in Thomas Jefferson's lifetime and died in Reagan's. There were Greek playwrights who wrote shows nearly 2,000 years before Shakespeare was even alive. Follow for more.
Whatever photo you see first says a lot about the type of person that you are. First of all, take a look at this photo right here. If you first of all notice 3 flying birds, that means you're a very adventurous person and are constantly looking for the next big thing. You're very motivated to following your hopes and dreams at any cost. If first of all you notice the face of a woman, this means you crave companionship and love being around people, and also potentially want to actually establish a relationship with someone pretty close to you right now. If you saw the trees first, that means you're a very relaxed and laid back person and you just go with the flow. Next up, take a look at this photo right here. If you saw the trees first, you trust your gut and will always follow your own intuition. Not a very trusting person and will always go off what's best for yourself. However, if you saw the tiger first, you're a very open-minded person but very strong-minded as well. Once you set your mind to something, no one's telling you otherwise. This photo right here. You saw the trees first, you could potentially be a little bit narrow-minded. You like being comfortable in one area, which isn't a bad thing, and are just comfortable in one position with your group of people. However, if you saw the skyscrapers, you like to think big, follow your dreams, and like to be completely outside of your comfort zone at all times.
Test your phobia. Thalassophobia.
Gruesome Facts You Didn't Know, Part 156. This photo, taken by a PetSmart employee in Arizona, shows a freezer overflowing with the bodies of dead animals due to understaffing. Another employee reported that cutting corners has led to hamsters eating their young after giving birth. As a last-ditch effort defense mechanism, the horned lizard can actually shoot blood from its eyes. After the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, looters, scavengers, and even surviving soldiers were taking teeth out of dead soldiers left on the battlefield. They would sort them into sets and then sell them to dentists who would boil them, cut off the roots, and shape them into dentures.
Random facts about Australia because I just love y'all that much. The word selfie came from Australia. It was first used by Aussie man Nathan Hope when he posted a picture after he busted his ass while drinking. There's more kangaroos than people. Since kangaroos are the white-tailed deer of down under, it's common to eat kangaroo meat. I've actually had a kangaroo burger, and it was not bad. Y'all are home to the most venomous snake, fish, octopus, spider, which I didn't even bother putting here, one of the few venomous mammals, and the most dangerous bird in the world. But that doesn't compare to the most venomous thing of all. Because the most venomous things in the world, the box jellyfish and the irukandji, are from Australia. But somehow, with all the dangerous animals in Australia, the one responsible for the most names on Twitter bios, horses and cows. Y'all are so afraid of spiders and snakes, but a horse is more likely to kick your lights out. But it's not all bad. Y'all do have the happiest animal in the world, the quokka. Fun fact, really happy fact actually, they're not endangered. They're vulnerable, so they're not 100% safe, but they're definitely not going extinct. Which is great because Rottnest gets about $4 million in tourism every year, and the quokka selfie is a big reason why. Australia also has the longest fence in the world at 3,488 miles. Supposed to keep rabbits out, but I guess they forgot rabbits can dig.
I've seen my fair share of cults, and this one is pretty weird. This cult calls themselves the Cult of Mother God, and it's run by this woman here, Amy Carlson. She calls herself Mother God, creator of the universe, and she pretty much believed that she was being controlled by the spirit of Robin Williams himself, and not only him, but she could also channel information from other celebrities who weren't alive and even were alive, Donald Trump, but yeah, like Steve Irwin, Carrie Fisher, MJ. With everything in her, she believed that all this advice she was giving people was coming from Robin Williams himself. Her parents claimed she was a straight-A student, and sometime between 2000 to 2007, she meets a man named White Eagle as she was frequenting a website called lightworkers.org. She's pretty much convinced she's a divine being by this man, and she leaves her husband, her job, and kids, moves to Colorado with this cult. They'd start posting in 2009 and would call themselves the Galactic Foundation of the Light. Amy's health starts declining very badly to where she starts losing weight. She's down to 103 pounds. And this cult believes that Robin Williams is going to come down in a spaceship and pick her up. She can't weigh over 103, and she's going to ascend. Her health continues to decline, and Robin Williamson is nowhere to be found. He doesn't show up in his spaceship. So this group spends about 12 days with her body. I forgot to mention, but she was last seen alive on April 10th of 2021. But yeah, police would eventually break in and find Amy's body, her face covered in glitter, body in a sleeping bag, wrapped in Christmas lights. Kind of like a shrine, they called it.
Most terrifying urban legends from around the world. In 1978, a girl named Catherine went missing after she heard strange noises coming from the woods behind her backyard. Her sister said Catherine heard the voice of their mother calling to her, but something about this voice sounded distorted and wrong. That was one of the first sightings of Siren Head, a tall humanoid creature with unusually long limbs and two siren speakers attached to his head with human mouths inside. This allows the Siren Head to play the voices of its victims' families to lure them in. This creature is usually found in rural places and small towns, making it easier to blend into the environment and disguise itself between the trees or as a telephone pole. So remember, next time you hear the voice of a family member coming from an unusual place, don't go investigating. And follow for more stories.
Psychology facts. 91% of people are no longer friends with someone they called their best friend. The person you think before you go to sleep is more likely to appear in your dreams. Unexpected texts from the person you care about can have a positive effect on your body and instantly improve your mood.
These freak-offs, which involved groups of people performing sexual activities with each other, reportedly started in 2009. These parties were described as multi-day events involving heavy drug use, alcohol, and allegedly Diddy used force, threats, and coercion to make victims participate in these events. These substances that were used at these freak-offs were there to keep participants compliant, and basically it got people so intoxicated that they were sometimes taken advantage of. These freak-offs were held in rented hotel rooms and mansions in New York, LA, and Miami. But this is the thing, Diddy was so known and popular back in the early 2000s that everyone you can possibly think of was at his parties that he hosted. There's photos of A-list celebrities such as Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, J-Lo, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, and the list goes on. Now, were they all necessarily involved in these freak-offs? Not everyone, but it's been said that many of them were participating in these activities and some of them weren't but knew about it. And if they were involved in this back in the day, they don't want people to know now. And after all of this was released to the public, these celebrities have been really quiet and no one wants to speak on it at all.
Now, if you want to hear a scary myth, this is one that actually turned out to be true. So this was like way back in the day, but there was this infamous funhouse called Laugh in the Dark. Like any other kind of funhouse ride attraction that you would go through, it's supposed to scare you. And the whole thing about it was that it was filled with these creepy mannequins, but there was one mannequin that stuck out to everybody. All this time went by with kids who would go up to this mannequin and something seemed off about it because it was so oddly lifelike. But of course, strange mannequins aside, somebody was going to make a buck off this place. So there was a day when a film crew came in because they were going to shoot a movie. With all these mannequins and everything kind of lying around, they had to move things from one place to another. So the director said, can you pull that mannequin and put it to the side? Only for the arm of the mannequin to snap off and reveal human bone. The entire time that kids and the public had been suspecting there was something off with that mannequin, they were right. It was a real human body being used in the funhouse.
This is a scary story about Do Not Open. There was an 18-year-old girl named Mia who was in her first year at college. She lived alone in an apartment near her university. One night when she was doing the dishes, she got a call from her friend Pete. She picked it up and he said, "I'm bored, I want to hang out." Mia said, "Yeah, me too, come over." Pete then said he'll be over in 15 to 20 minutes. She then hung up and decided to take a shower. Mia was in the middle of shampooing her hair when she suddenly heard a loud banging on the door. She stuck her head out of the shower and said, "Come in, it's open." But a few minutes later, the banging on the door started again. She then stuck her head out of the shower again and said, "Come in, it's not locked." Just then, her phone started to ring and it was Peter. Mia said, "I'm in the shower, why don't you stop knocking and just come in?" Peter's voice sounded extremely scared and he said, "Do not open the door." Mia said, "Why not?" "I'm outside your apartment building," whispered Peter. "And I just saw a strange woman coming up the stairs to your apartment covered in blood and holding a knife. And she was smiling weirdly and didn't look human at all."
The same day this guy was released from jail, he went and killed and then decapitated his mother. His name is Alejandro Gonzalez and this happened in Arizona. The police did arrest the 25-year-old after he killed and decapitated his mother right before her birthday. This happened on September 27th after somebody called 911. When the police got to the scene, they found her decapitated. Her name was Teresa de Jesus Cruz Rubio. She failed to show up to her surprise birthday party. Obviously, her family got really worried and they found her door locked, so they had to call a locksmith to come and open it. And it was unfortunate that they opened it and saw a horrible scene. Police found blood and knives everywhere with the shower and sink still running as if somebody was trying to clean the evidence. Her vehicle was also missing, but surveillance camera footage caught her son driving it. Police found Alejandro Gonzalez the next day on September 28th and took him into custody for questioning. He was covered in blood and had bruises all over his hand. He was also in possession of his mother's stolen vehicle. He even admitted to decapitating and killing her as well. He also claimed someone else was involved, but there's no evidence that points to that right now. Let me know your thoughts about this case in the comment section below, guys.
If you're a kid, make sure you shower. This, my friends, is the skunk ape. Click the plus, drop a like, tag a friend, or he might find you. It is said that the skunk ape gets its name of its absolute disgusting odor, and its attraction to other very smelly odors. On top of that, its appearance resembling a massive ape. It is also said to be roaming around certain parts of Florida, so if you live there, I would definitely be careful. My question to you guys is, do you still not want to shower?
This is one of the most haunted places I've ever been to, and I won't go in here alone. It's an old abandoned nursing home outside of Waco, Texas. And if you're wondering why it was shut down, it was because an elderly woman was left here in the parking lot in a locked van on a hot day, and she died. Abuse and other crimes against the elderly run rampant at nursing homes, and this place was no stranger to it. I went there for my YouTube channel a couple of years ago, and the video footage that I captured inside is shocking. I found a doll hanging by a noose. I heard the sounds of people inside the building and talking, and it looks like there's someone still there. Would you explore this place with me? Let me know below.
Creepy facts you didn't know about. If your immune system ever discovers that you have eyeballs, it's going to attack them until you go blind. At some point in time, a stranger has thought of killing you. If you're ever exposed to rabies and start to show symptoms, your survival chance is virtually 0%. You should never use bleach to clean up cat pee. The combination creates chlorine gas that is toxic. You are never 100% safe, no matter where you are or how you feel. If the sun exploded right now, you wouldn't know about it for another 8 minutes. There's a brain-eating amoeba that lives in lakes and rivers of the southern United States.
So because I'm back in like my Halloween thing right now, I was rewatching all of the Texas Chainsaw movies, and I was racking my brain because I'm like, I know this is somewhat based off of a true story. Thinking to myself, I know the movies have been sensationalized, but there's definitely a name behind this, so I did some research. Completely forgot about Ed Gein. This guy was the original inspiration behind Leatherface because of the things he did, and specifically the things he made. For something like 17 years, he was exhuming bodies, he was also making people disappear, if you know what I mean? Creating these morbid and grotesque items, leather items, out of their skin. It's kind of eerie to think that his neighbors, people locally, they just didn't know who he was. He was just the isolated man who lived in an old house and stayed to himself. But if you do want more information on this, we're probably going to cover it on Creep Time, the podcast.
Thanks to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this video. This October, the greatest villain of all time returns to theaters in Joker Folie à Deux. Joker Folie à Deux is a direct sequel to Joker, which is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. But what made Joker different from the rest is that Joaquin Phoenix didn't just play the Joker, he became the Joker. Phoenix lost over 52 pounds for the role. He isolated himself during the preparation process, and even improvised intense scenes like smashing the clock and his haunting dance scene in the bathroom. Phoenix went through an intense physical and psychological transformation to become the Joker, and it paid off, becoming the first R-rated movie to cross $1 billion at the box office. And luckily, the iconic character is returning to the big screen for Joker Folie à Deux, with Phoenix reprising his role as Arthur Fleck, and Lady Gaga taking on the role of Harley Quinn. This sequel dives even deeper into the mind of Joker and explores more of the dark, grounded Gotham universe that we want to see. And you can grab tickets now for Joker Folie à Deux, which hits theaters October 4th.
The goofiest serial killer nicknames. This is Cayetano Santos Godinho, the teenage Argentinian serial killer. By the age of 16, he committed 4 murders, 5 arsons, 11 assaults, 1 attempted kidnapping, and the murder of 3 animals. He was also once jailed for chronic self-pleasuring, which was illegal at the time. This monster from Argentina was appropriately nicknamed the Big-Eared Midget.
These animals were recently discovered and the last one is unbelievable. This first one is a wolf monk and they're highly aggressive and they eat everything. This is a crowilla. These are super intelligent creatures who swoop down and steal your food, but they write a thank you card after. This is a louse and these creatures are found all over the world. They wait for you to go to sleep and they hide under your bed, then they come out and bite your toes. This is a raniwi. These are super fast creatures with the temper of a honey badger. This is the catfin, and these are some of the most dangerous new creatures ever found. They swim through the water fast like torpedoes, but they are known to knock everything off boats. The candy is a much safer option though, although they're kind of messy on both ends. It's kind of like leaving little landmines everywhere. This is a dogster, and they're one of the safest to be around. And even though that boy thick, they don't eat that much food. The monkola is highly vicious though. They sleep most of the day, but if you wake them up, they throw buckets of poo at you. This is a squinky, and they're to be avoided at all costs. If they see you walking with food, they come and steal your food and then wait. And if you're still there, they eat you next. The chizard is the next white meat. They're said to taste like chicken. And the pingoat is a new favorite pet by some people. They are so friendly to the point that they annoy you to where you want to punch them.
Whatever you do not feel bad for this woman. This woman's name is Lovely Kristen Antoinette Johnson, and she had a 6-month-old baby. But one more thing is, she was a severe drug addict. And she would often invite friends over to her house or go to her friends' houses to do drugs. When she would do this, she would just lock her son up in a car seat and leave him inside the house. And she would place him in the attic where she wouldn't be able to hear him. Well, on this particular occasion, the little baby went 4 days without any food and starved to death. Apparently, the baby had diaper rash so severe his skin was literally falling off. When she found the baby, his body was already decomposing and she still took him to the ER and got arrested there. and she was sentenced to 20 to 80 years in prison for the murder of her baby.